Hello reviewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Rocket Monday, we're going to talk about space news 1508-2025. So let's dive deep into it. Now, the first interesting news is from Gilmour Space. So basically, this is an Australian space technology company, and it is ironic that Australia does not have a national program, but this is the first private one they are working on. So this is a big company, by the way, 200 employees, so to say, and they are making this puppy. Iris rocket, ERIS rocket. Now, the key part is this is a lightweight rocket targeting 300 kilograms up to 500 kilograms or 500 kilometers of sun synchronous orbit. So lightweight rocket. Now, critical part is this is 3-stage, which is unique, but it makes sense. And the thing they are doing to differentiate is that there are other companies that are designing something similar, but most of the companies generally have a very small fairing. Not comparing against Falcon 9, but this company is trying to give a bit of wiggle room in the fairing. So fairing is, the kilograms is not that huge, but fairing is 1.5 meter. Now, like, does that matter? Well, yes, because if you have density requirement, was like, no, your satellite has to be this CubeSat and it has to be this dense, you have to have too many hinges for your solar panel. But if somebody gives like, okay, you don't have to densify it, especially for optical observation satellites, that's like sure to take money. So it's clever. It's not a very big deal because again, you can launch it on bigger satellites, but cost. So this is a very unique approach, and they do have 3 stages, which is again should give them some wiggle room, some unique buffer space. So they are doing enough things to differentiate from all other small satellite launch vehicle. And how they are achieving it, they are utilizing basically proprietary hybrid rocket engine. Now, let that be very clear. I am not very clear. Even on their website, they are not very clear what exactly they are using. Are they using liquid NOx, or they using NOS, or liquid or oxygen, so to say, LOX? So I'm not clear about that part. But they are using solid polymer. Basically, it's a type of compound which is almost like a polymer compound, like a plastic that they are burning. Now, does that make sense? Yes, but generally people use rubber in those sort of scenarios, so they are a bit different compared to how we have Virgin Galactic. Exact same philosophy. You have a liquid oxidizer and a solid fuel. Solid fuel, liquid oxidizer. So it gives you best of both worlds. It gives you the oomph of a solid booster and gives you throttability and control of a liquid system. Although nobody has ever tried to make a orbital class rocket with this. Missiles, yes. Tourists, yes. Orbital rocket, no. So they are the first one, and which is ironic given the fact that they're the first test they did, which again they have shared the video there. It had a burn through scenario, meaning the rocket started, everything is fine, everything is dandy, but when it was about to reach its final exhaustion, there was a failure, and it did not went kaboom, but like it had that. So I have no idea why they went forward with the mission, and when they actually launched it, it caught fire. Basically, the moment they launched it, one engine went kaput. So the moment one engine went kaput, the power to weight ratio dropped below 1 and the rocket could not go. So although if they could have remained there for a few minutes, it would have become light enough that it started to climb. But of course, it's not going to reach orbit. So this happened. This happened on 30 July. That was the first system. And they're hopeful. The company is hopeful that they did learn a lot. And the fact that they did clear the tower and everything in this puppy is made in Australia itself, including the Vegemite payload, they're happy with this. So let's see. Let's wish them all the best. And again, it's unique because again, this is one thing that I have to understand, and I have to give thanks to my predecessors in my nation, is that India really jumped into the space game very early on. Like this is you would think Australia is like big, it does have some finance and all that jazz. You would think they would have a lot of options. Nah. So Gilmour Space is trying to solve that. Like this is similar story in whole of Europe. Almost all nations are like, nah, this is not a good idea to just trust ESA to do it, which again, they have shown they cannot be trusted. So this is a good small approach. Now we come to the big puppy. So Vulcan USSF-106 was the third mission of it. Now this is the heavy puppy mission, meaning this is from National Security Space Launch. You have to understand, if you go back far enough, you will understand how the heck ULA had contracts. Well, they had contracts simply because they had a love relationship with Space Force. of that time. The idea was very simple. All the national security missions would be launched into this. So they never had to worry about it. And again, SpaceX had to file a court case, lawsuit, all of that jazz just to get the ability to compete in that mission. And they did win. They did started to launch. And after that, ULA was like, uh-oh. So they went from just swimming in money to like, oh, we have to shut down rockets. So Vulcan was created as an actual competition. It's not just like, okay, greasing the palms of the politician. No, we have to actually make a good rocket. So Vulcan Century rocket is this puppy, was made for this. But here's the deal. They knew what are the limitation of Falcon 9 is, because Falcon 9 was designed as a ISS resupply rocket. That was its core intent. But because these people are working with national defense contract, they have a different requirement. So they focused specifically on that requirement. And this launch was the first time that muscle was flexed, meaning they had Vulcan Century plus 4 SRB. They can go maximum of 6, 4. So they almost maxed it out. And why this is a big deal? Because they have a heavy satellite. With that heavy satellite, they are doing direct insertion into geostationary orbit. Basically, they are going exactly where they need to go from the rocket itself, not on the satellite propulsion. You have a lot of options. Like right now, we have electrical propulsion, ion engines, very efficient, but it could take upwards of 6 months to go from low Earth orbit to geostationary. You could have hypergolics that could take that time to 1 month. This puppy, 7 hours. Go, bye. Meaning the time that any other nation like China has to analyze this and figure out where it is going, that shrinks dramatically. So that is like shut up, take money. Now Falcon 9 flat out cannot do this. Falcon Heavy barely do that, because again, it does suffer from the fact that it is using kerosene. So it does not have that kind of velocity, escape velocity to do that precisely. It can do that. It's like, but again, this rocket was designed for this exact market niche. So of course, this will be much better. It's like, and again, it's a Mark II product. It was built after Falcon 9. So it does have some design benefit. And US Space Force cut the live stream once the second stage was deployed, but they did confirm that after launch, as in 7 hours after launch, they reached their geosynchronous orbit, which is damn, that is like good. Geostationary in 7 hours, that's like fast. That's like fast. They're like orbit raising was, they were going YOLO on it. So this is a very good development for USA, because now it means they actually have vehicles for different tasks. Falcon 9, good, awesome, GG. But here's the Falcon 9 is not suited for everything. And again, having the ability to yeet something heavy that quickly to geostationary, that means NASA can look into this and be like, hey, we want some deep space probes. This puppy's like, I got you, fam. And again, be mindful, they still has more horsepower left. You can add 2 more SRBs to yeet that puppy. So this was a heavy mission, third mission, and it did work as expected. So everybody's happy. I'm happy that they really provided the whole camera reel directly in the Flickr account. You can go into the website and you get full resolution of it. Have fun. And I really like the design of like hammering guy. So this is Vulcan. Now let's talk about India and NASA's partnership, which was NISAR, NASA ISRO Synthetic Aperture Radar. Now, if you have watched my channel for 2 years ago, I have covered this. This was a long mission and long project. So they finally launched this puppy on 30 July 2025 on top of a GSLV F-16 variant Mark II of it. So a heavy rocket, basically as heavy as can be. Now orbit ingestion is done in sun synchronous orbit. Basically you have sun here, you have earth here, you have a border which is always in sunlight because earth is spinning, but that border remains exactly the same. You put your satellite in that sun synchronous orbit, your solar panel can work 24/7 into 365. So people want to put lot of stuff into sun synchronous orbit. So they did do that. It has been deployed. Basically rocket part is done, launching part done, good, go home. Now we are in the waiting period. If you are a member of my channel, you would watch this when this step is happening, basically deployment, because this dish is huge. It's freaking huge. It's not huge, it's huge. So they have a lot of steps. It's like a lot of steps going day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8. So it will take almost 9 days to deploy this whole puppy. It will take time. That dish is like almost like black magic. So it will take its sweet time to deploy. And after it has been deployed, so again, we'll get a confirmation. After it has been deployed, it will go through calibration stage. Radar do require those puppies. And calibration would take upwards of 90 days. Now, again, that's not guaranteed that it will take that long, but they have that kind of time zone. So if things go all according to plan, we are looking at science phase beginning at October. If you really want to watch the detailed video of that, I have linked that video down below. But again, it's a very complex project and it took its sweet time. That will be very good. It took its sweet time to launch. 2 years ago, I have covered it 2 years ago. Now let's talk about the violence. China's lunar lander is creating a lot of buzz. So China's Lanyue lunar lander completes comprehensive landing testing. Now here's the deal. How would you test something that is designed for lower gravity? You pull it on strings. And again, if you remember, this is exactly how NASA tested the helicopter for Mars. They had a string. So same thing happens here. That's why it has like such a big structure. That structure was built in order to make sure that this can stimulate, and basically motors will keep pulling it to reduce its weight, so to say. It's a very clever way of testing it. That's why that huge structure is there. And one thing you have to understand, China, when it comes to moon, it's far ahead in terms of planning compared to what America is right now. America's Artemis mission is weed. There is no logic to it. There is no design to it. People are just smoking random things. It's like, we're going to launch in 2024. I'm like, what are you smoking? That's not happening. You do not have anything to do that. It's like, just no, you're just making things up at that point in time. China, on the other hand, is very clear. It's almost like how Apollo was, where it's like, no, this is the target and this is how we're going to go. So China has everything sorted out. This is how we're going to build the technology. This is how we're going to test the technology. This is how we're going to test the precursor technology. Everything step by step mapped out years in advance, and everything is moving. This is happening exactly in the right time when it's supposed to happen, meaning they're not drifting, delaying or anything. It's just like, no, this is what we had to do. Everything is mapped out. It's very methodic. Of course, it has the benefit of advanced electronics and the fact that Apollo mission has already happened. So they have already done everything. They landed on moon, they collected materials on the moon, yeeted it back and all of that. So it's a very precise progression as expected. So this target will happen. Sooner or later, it will happen. So everything is working as expected. It's like, there is old saying, if you fail to plan, you are planning for failure. Same thing is here. It's like, they are very precise on this. Like, this is what we have to do. They are not trying to build some magical rocket or some over budget rocket. It's like, no, what do we have right now? Go with that. And it's very precise. And again, they are using the smarter logic. Rather than refueling, they're like, let's dock 2 smaller rockets in space. Tada, that gives you the same horsepower as one big one. So everything is working as a plan. And now this is putting pressure on USA. So Donald Trump have reacted to that pressure. Now, Donald Trump does not understand certain things, specifically coming to war. I mean, like, bro was actually saying he's gonna finish the war in 1 day. I'm like, what are you smoking? But again, he does understand business. So on 13 August 2025, Donald J. Trump filed an executive order, this puppy. So idea is enabling competition in commercial space industry. The idea is by 2030, they want to exponentially grow the private space sector. So how would you do that? Well, reforming regulatory barriers to commercial launch and re-entry. Now, the re-entry part is very critical. You must have remembered there was a small company that launched something in space, tested it around, and when they need to re-entry, they're like, that license was like stuck. So basically, Trump is like, as a businessman, it's like, no, this is not okay. And if you remember, almost a year ago, we had a conference between Senate where it's like, no, every company, basically Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, SpaceX, ULA, all of them could, it's like, dude, you want us to beat China. We can't beat it if your government itself keeps hampering it. So Trump is directly firing missile on that. It's like, no, all the regulatory bodies that are just blocking it, no, you stop. Everything has to be redone and simplified. Very simple. And again, updates, because again, the system was not designed with re-entry in mind. It was designed in 1970s. So they had to redo that and eliminate or fast track environmental review. And this is a very critical aspect because they are competing against a country, so to say, like China, which can just drop first stage, which is hypergolically loaded directly on civilian population. So you can't compete with that if they are that, loose with the rules. So they have to make sure their party is also loose, otherwise they will lose the race. So this time, fast track that. I mean, now, of course, you do not go like, let's put a nuclear material there, or there is a limits there, but do not require like 2-3 years of paperwork that SpaceX had to go, ULA had to go. It's like, no, expedite that puppy. Expedite. It's like, but what about the fish? Fish will be cooked. And what about the people? No, people will not be put into risk. That's the one thing they are very sure about. Like, people will not be put into the risk. And given the fact most of things happening in space and in basically oceans, that should not have an issue. So eliminate fast track. Basically, that's the whole thing. Basically, they're reducing the throttle time. Basically, a startup comes along, it's like, okay, I want to make a spaceport. US government is like, yeah, file 10 years of paperwork. It's like, no, 2 months. And basically FAA has a very specific directive, that is part 450. That regulation is way too outdated, way too cumbersome. So firing missiles at that part exactly in that text, like you can read into the website, and eliminate duplicate regulatory hurdles. And this time Trump is flexing his muscle. Is the fact is very simple. Many times two people are asking for the same document. It's like, oh, environmental review for the state government, environmental review for the national government. It's like, no, you fire missile on one of them. So, and again, this is classified as a national requirement, so it will bypass state systems. Again, there's politics and all that, but again, it is an executive order. It should get precedence over that. So the whole idea is very simple. Streamline the mission authorization process. You want to do something, go do it, as long as you can maintain reasonable safety. And again, this has to happen. If China is going YOLO, they also have to go YOLO. And you're like, did they do YOLO thing in Apollo era? Remember what happened to Apollo 1 astronauts? Yeah, they had to go YOLO. There is no other way around it. So this is very simple. It's like, if we want to remain leader in space, and are they leader in space? Yes, absolutely they are. And this time they are learning from the mistakes of Motorola in 1998 or 2, I think, where they like went into China. And this is what every private company is warning them. You can have 10,000 laws, but don't expect private companies to be here. They can go to China, they can go to India, they can go to Australia, they can go like at least 5 to 6 new companies are working their ass off to launch, not because they have better tools than what America does, but simply because of the bureaucracy. So he's directly firing missile at that weakness to make sure that by 2030, American just like, space, we got this. We good, bro. We got this. Now, as of now, they are very far ahead. And if Vulcan also starts to work as expected, and if Blue Origin starts to work as expected, they will have 3 heavy puppies, and smaller puppies are also in line. And let's just see what happens with Neutron. So this is a very good approach from US's point of view. And again, humanity will progress. If 2 people are going boom boom, humanity will always progress. So we will also win. So this was my presentation on basically the interesting news that happened recently. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.